Okay, I've dropped each rack of CDs once. The microphone popped off and fell on the floor, and I had to go digging looking for it. Um, just wondering what else could go wrong. Do I really want to do this video? Well, yes, I want to, so I'm going to give it a shot. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Tom's Hit Parade. By the way, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, share this video with your friends, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. That would be fantastic. So just to warn you here, I am operating on diminished capacity. If my voice sounds different, then there's a good reason for that. I came down with a cold. That's one thing I came back from Portland with that I really didn't want to, was a cold. I actually thought about masking up on public transit while I was up there for 3 days, considering that I was basically on public transit all day, every day for those 3 days. And I decided against it, and now I'm paying the price for it. But yes, I went up to Portland for a few days last week. Went up there on Monday, came back on Thursday. Today is Monday, and I had my cold for a few days, and I just these last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I just did not have the energy to do a video. But I wanted to get one out for you this weekend, before this weekend was technically over. So happy, is that the right word? Memorial Day for those of you who are here in the States. Um, yes, I took the train up to Portland this past week, and that's the first time I took the train in at least 10 years. And by the way, I'm using some notes here on my phone that I have attached to the side of uh, my tablet here that I'm filming with. I don't want to forget anything that I wanted to mention, considering my foggy, cold brain. Anyway, yes, I took the train first time in about 10 years, I think, at least, since I took the train up. It was a whole lot of fun. Um, the ride up was fun and uneventful, but getting home was a massive pain in the ass. To make a long story short, there was an electrical problem with one of the passenger cars. It didn't have any AC, which was probably bad enough because it was a sunny day. It wasn't hot, but it was warm. And of course, inside of a big tin can, you're going to get warmer. So no AC. That was just a comfort issue. So that was kind of one thing. But the electrical issue also affected the braking and the passenger doors. So yes, safety was a concern rather than just comfort. So kudos to the engineer for explaining the issue to us in such detail and letting us know that that we weren't just being detrained just for a little glitch. This was a pretty big glitch, as it turned out. So anyway, they were able to finally wrangle some buses after a couple of hours to get us where we needed to go, which we eventually did. Obviously, here I am at home. Yes, it was kind of the whole point of buying a train ticket when taking the train was to have a different experience. I usually end up taking the bus up there and back, so I kind of sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches, deal with what life deals you. I'm trying to form coherent sentences here. Forgive me. But anyway, we Eugene-bound passengers got our own bus, so we actually didn't have to stop at what did we stop at? Salem, or no, Oregon City, Salem, Albany, etc. So we were able to come straight through to Eugene. Saved us about probably a good 20 minutes, half an hour on the trip home. And about half of the passengers, funny enough, were part of a Norwegian American choral group who actually treated us to a quick song at the end of our trip.
That was a Norwegian national anthem.
And as you can see, you might have been able to see in that video, this was one of those party buses. So it had these LED lights, these multicolored LED lights that kept changing and swirling and stuff along the window frames and all that. So honestly, I probably would have had more fun and been more sociable if I wasn't so darn tired from the grueling thing. I got to the Amtrak station at 10 o'clock. Train was originally supposed to depart at 11 o'clock. We sat on the tracks until 12:30 and finally got a bus out of there at about 3 o'clock. So I basically spent all day in an Amtrak station on the uncomfortable wooden benches there. So, yes, I was a bit tired and a little aggravated. I tried to make the most of the situation and whatnot, because what else can you do, honestly? And it's not like they wanted all this to happen, right? They want to have happy passengers. So, but anyway, honestly, it was as fun a trip home as it could have been under the circumstances. These people were these Norwegian choral group. They were a fun bunch of people to talk to. I kind of wish that my mom had been with us because she was about the age of some of them, so she probably would have been able to carry on a fun conversation with them and talk about stuff that they were all familiar with, and stuff. So, but anyway, as for the rest of the trip, boy, did I have fun. I got to tell you, the Airbnb I booked was nice and clean in a quiet little neighborhood, but it was still in walking distance to the bus and rail lines, as well as some restaurants. The food was great. I had some great food there. Quite possibly the best plate of fettuccine alfredo that I have ever had in my life. And this was at a little unassuming Italian restaurant, just a few blocks, a quarter mile from where the Airbnb was. And I stayed out in Beaverton, which is a western suburb of Portland. Yes, it might be more convenient to stay in Portland, but honestly, all the stuff that I was going to didn't open until 10 a.m. anyway. So, I've got time to kill from even when I'm on vacation, I wake up at usually 7 o'clock. I'm awake and out of bed, so it's just how I'm wired, I guess you'd say. So I had to kill that time, so I might as well stay out in Beaverton. It's quieter, it's a little nicer, so I don't mind, and I don't mind the commute, sitting on the bus or the train, watching the world go by as I take the mass transit and stuff. So. Most of the other food choices were places I've been to before and enjoyed. I had a really nice chicken fried steak at the Black Bear Diner, which I've been to Black Bear Diners before, but not this particular one up in Beaverton. But still, good stuff. But that's not why you're here. You want to know about the record stores, obviously, and the stuff that I got at the record stores, which I will obviously show you in just a minute here. Unfortunately, I did not come home with any vlog footage except for the little song there on the impromptu performance on the party bus that I just showed you. I just did not seem to be in the vlogging frame of mind for this trip. I don't know why. It was just kind of where my brain was. So on the train ride up, I decided to look on my phone on a whim and see if there were any record stores in Beaverton. And I hadn't bothered looking for record stores up there ever since the Everyday Music location up there closed in 2017, 2018, something like that. It was pre-pandemic when it closed. And so I just assumed, okay, there are no more record stores in Beaverton. Well, I was wrong. There were actually two. So I got into town early enough Monday that I had time to visit Exiled Records in the afternoon on the day I arrived. I certainly won't object to squeezing in at least one more record store on my itinerary. Exiled Records is at the corner of Southwest Canyon Road and 87th Avenue, just east of Beaverton. They have a very nice, bright, and uncramped store, a great selection of CDs and records. As you guys might know, I've mentioned on my trip uh, haul videos before. When I'm on vacation or gone somewhere else, I usually only look at CDs. I don't bother looking at records. But anyway, they had a great selection of both, and a very very friendly staff as well. So and yes, as I mentioned, you'll see what I found in just a few minutes here. And there is another store there, but I happened to ask the guy there at the store at Exiled, how their selection of CDs is, and the guy's reply was, "What CD selection?" So I decided to just forego 503 Records. If any of you out there have been to 503 Records in Beaverton, and if they've got a good CD selection, let me know. He might have been working on outdated information. They could have beefed up their CD selection since he'd been there last. But anyway, yes, did not bother going to 503 Records, so I might check that out on a whim on my next trip up there. Who knows? But yes, a great stop there at Exile Records. Tuesday was the day that I chose to visit my trusty old favorite stores, Music Millennium at Southeast 32nd and Burnside on the east side of Portland, and Everyday Music, a few blocks west of Powell's on Burnside in downtown Portland. And obviously, I found a bunch, as always, I found plenty of great stuff at both stores. And I'm glad to say that Everyday Music's staff was noticeably more friendly and helpful than they had been on my previous couple of visits. I don't know if the management had gotten word that they'd been kind of cold and unfriendly and stuff, and they decided to correct it, or if I just have been there on bad days for the staff. I don't know, but if it was an isolated incident or what that I experienced last time. But yes, nice to say that they're back to being friendly at Everyday Music. On Wednesday, which was my last full day of vacation up there, I decided to venture up to Vancouver, Washington, which is just across the Columbia River from Portland. The two cities' transit systems have a partnership whereby one of their bus routes shuttles between downtown Portland and downtown Vancouver, which is very convenient. And you can use your TriMet pass. TriMet is the Portland bus system on any of C-Tran's buses. C-Tran is the Vancouver system. So very, very nice partnership, very convenient. 30 minutes from downtown Portland to downtown Vancouver. Very nice. And I had actually never been to Vancouver before. So I thought it might be fun to check out a couple of record stores near downtown. And I am very happy to say that that was not a wasted trip. Everybody's Music, which is on 1801 D Street, is just north of downtown and is crammed full of merchandise, but it's not claustrophobic or cluttered. And the staff, bonus points here, the staff is super friendly, very, very nice. The one problem is you want to go in there if you've got time to browse, because they have CDs tucked in every corner of that store. So you really have to look around to make sure you're not missing any sections to browse in, unless there's a certain genre that's just not to your liking, that you're just not interested in. But I was there to browse, so I made sure and checked every spot and came out with some great stuff, as you'll see in just a minute here. They even had a good $1 section, and they were in these cube things, which obviously are meant for records. And I pulled the CDs out to look at them, and at first I thought they were two stacks deep, but they were actually 3 stacks deep. So that took some time. That took probably a third of the time that I was there looking at the dollar CDs. And that was actually the only dollar section that I bothered looking at through my entire trip. The other Vancouver store I checked out was called Ronald Records, which is at 1005 Main Street, right in downtown. That was actually the most disappointing stop on my trip, but only because the store was rather small and didn't have a lot of CDs. So, nothing against the experience. It was a nice experience. Nice, clean store, nice looking layout and all that stuff. And the staff was very friendly. That's something that just I seemed to strike gold with, was friendly staffs at all the record stores. So, yes, I had a blast, to put it to put it succinctly here. And I think I've added 2 shops to my regular rotation of stores. When I'm up in the Portland area, I will definitely go to Exile Records again in Beaverton, and everybody's Music in Vancouver definitely will be regular stops of mine. So, and I did not think I was going to come home with very much stuff. Certainly not as much as I did. But I did have quite a little stash of money to play with. Between the profit from my analog to digital conversion service, I take LPs or cassettes and put them on CDs, stuff that's never been on CD before. So you got to check the copyright laws and stuff. And also the money I got from selling a little chunk of my collection to the local stores over the last month or so. But anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get started with what you guys really came here for, my CD haul, to see all the stuff that I bought. I thought about organizing these. Ouch. My right leg, does not want to go up onto my left knee as easily as it used to. I don't know if it's just an age thing, or if it's, if I did something to my hip joint, or what. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, I thought about organizing these by the stores that I went to, but I thought that would be a little bit messier. I thought it would be easier to, or cleaner or neater to just sort them all by genre. Plus, suffice to say, I found great stuff at just about every store I went to. So, there's no store on the list of stores that I mentioned that is not worth going to, really. First up is some comedy and spoken word, which you don't see a whole lot from in my channel. But yeah, I found a handful of comedy records that looked pretty good, or comedy CDs and spoken word CDs. First one is a classic, definitely. Golden Throats, the big celebrity sing-off. This is actors and whatnot who are trying their hand at singing. And I use the word trying. That's the key word there. Now, I'm sure the CD was in my sister's collection, but it must have been one that one of her immediate family wanted to hold on to and did not make it down to me in my section. So, as far as I'm concerned, this was a CD that was in Kimmy's selection that I inherited from her. Or at least whenever I play this, I will think of my sister definitely, because this was one of her favorites. And I've been listening to, and I don't know if I've mentioned these before. I think I did mention them in a recent thrift store haul, I think. But the NPR show This American Life. There's been a series of CDs, um, 2 CD sets, each one of them, of various snippet, stories, articles, if you will, from the various episodes of the show. And I have 2 of them, and I found the third one, This American Life: Stories of Hope and Fear. So, and I've enjoyed the other 2, so I decided to pick this one up. Should be fun to listen to. I haven't listened to it yet. Then we have Frank Caliendo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a great comedian and impressionist. Impressionism is his main thing. He does probably the best impersonation of John Madden ever. So I've got one of his other albums. I figured I saw this one there. It was brand new and still sealed. Yes, I unsealed and took the price tags off the CDs, but have not recased any of them yet. So, and this one I did not even know existed. It is a Smothers Brothers compilation by Rhino Records, Sibling Revelry, the best of the Smothers Brothers. I've got probably 8 of their albums on LP, so I decided to pick up a CD compilation of theirs. So it should be very fun to listen to. And then here is this is a blue collar comedy duo before the blue collar comedy thing ever came out, years before the blue collar comedy tour. This is Pinkard and Bowden, and I've got one of their CDs I've had for since 1990s, the early 90s when it originally came out, and I've enjoyed it. And this is the one that precedes that one. This one is called Cousins, Kettle, and Other Love Stories. So that title gives you an idea of their sense of humor. So yeah, should be hopefully as fun to listen to as their other ones. I've got 1 or 2 of their albums on LP as well, so I think I may now have their entire discography. Then we have a novelty music Hall of Fame. I don't know if there is a novelty music Hall of Fame, but a legendary act in the world of novelty music, Barnes and Barnes. This is their album, their one and only studio album, Vubaha, I believe is how you pronounce it, and their classic song Fish Heads is on this album, obviously, since this was basically their only studio album. And yet you can see a whole bunch of bonus tracks on there. So yeah, that was nice to find that there. And then we're moving into the folk section is just consists of this one CD. I've got several of her CDs already, and have kind of been on the lookout for the ones I've been missing. Christine Lavin. Actually, I don't know if it's Lavin or Lavin, but I've got 3 or 4 of her albums, so this will be like the 5th one I've got. And she's got a good sense of humor in her lyrics, kind of like Nellie McKay, although Nellie McKay is a little bit more caustic and pointed in her sense of humor. But so yeah, figured I'd pick that one up. Beau Woes and Other Problems of Modern Life. That's the name of that one. Now this one, some of these genres I only have 1 CD of. But anyway, I guess I won't even mention genre. I just keep on going here. This one looked interesting from the moment I saw it, and this one I did find at Exile Records, I know. Cab Calloway. I've always been curious about sampling his stuff, seeing what he's like, and this is obviously kind of the more upbeat, maybe jump blues, I guess, and I'm just guessing because I haven't listened to it yet, but early rhythm and blues, boogie woogie, that kind of thing. So yes, Are You Hep to the Jive is the name of the album. And this is or it's not actually an album, it's a compilation of his hits. Well, I'll read. So that should be fun to listen to. I'm really looking forward to listening to that. And here's this one. I have Barbra Streisand's second and third albums remastered. The remastered editions have the original editions are the ones that just have the red block letters, very unflattering design of that. But you can see it has the sans serif font in red and black for the remastered editions. Trivia note. Anyway, so yeah, and I've got now the first 3 Barbra Streisand albums all remastered. So been looking for that one for a while. And this one, I know I picked this one up at some point. I guess maybe I wasn't enamored by it too much because I no longer have it, but I decided to pick it up again because it was only, what was it, $1.99? Maybe it was $2.99. And it is Wayne Brady, comedian and actor and singer, obviously. He was on Whose Line Is It Anyway, the funny sketch comedy / game show type of thing. But yes, this is his album, A Long Time Coming. So yes, he's got a great voice. And we have an album I did not have, and this was in the $1 section at Exile Records. Clay Aiken album, Steadfast. This is mostly easy listening covers of easy listening songs, as you can see by the track list there. Yes, I've got a timer that I need to pause recording when the timer goes off, and so that's why I keep looking over there. Then we have this one I think I mentioned it both in my last thrift store haul and in my last playlist because I had bought it and then listened to it. But this is their second album that I was glad to find. I had forgotten I was looking for it, and I just happened upon it. So, yay. Buckshot LaFunk. This is their sophomore album, Music Evolution. And I think this completes their discography. They only had 2 albums. So, yes, very much looking forward to it. Jazz with a little bit of R&B and maybe a little hip-hop, a little funk. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. This one, this is a blind or deaf buy, as it were, since it's music. Just looked interesting, and I know I've heard the name before. I may have some stuff, a track here and there by this artist on compilations or something. But Robert Glasper, or this is the Robert Glasper Experiment, and this is an album called Black Radio, and it's a 2-disc edition. So I guess it's a deluxe thing. It's got an EP on it and some other stuff as well. It just looked interesting. He's got a bunch of guest artists on here. I don't know what to expect from it, but it looked intriguing enough that I wanted to pick it up and give it a shot. I mean, I'm not afraid to put out my feelers and take a chance on stuff. And yeah, so that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to listening. I'm looking forward to listening to all these. Obviously, I guess I can stop saying that. This next one I had been hoping to find at some point. I was stupid and got rid of it 10, 15 years ago, and I've been looking for it ever since because I'm dumb. But it's the Mamas and the Papas. All the Leaves Are Brown. This is the anthology. Sorry about that. My voice is just. Hopefully, I can get through this video. But yes, this is all 4 of their albums on 2 discs with a smattering of bonus tracks and non-album singles. So this is basically their whole discography as a group on these 2 discs. So yeah, I don't know why I got rid of this. And here we've got an artist that I saw the name and I thought, ooh, yeah, Ethan Gruska. Now he is the grandson. Actually, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, the artist name and album title are up here. I don't know if you can see it, but yes, Ethan Gruska is the grandson of film composer John Williams, and he and his sister, I believe, put out a pair of albums back in the 2010s under the name The Bell Brigade, which I really, really enjoyed. So when I saw this is, I guess, his first solo album. I decided to pick it up. Don't know what kind of music it is, but I am raring to find out. So yeah, should be fun to listen to. And another artist, a band that I enjoyed back in the day, got rid of their CDs and picked up one of them a few weeks ago, and really enjoyed it. Hadn't listened to it in a long time, so I picked up their preceding album, Semisonic. This is Feeling Strangely Fine. Chemistry is the album that I picked up and enjoyed again. So yes, Closing Time obviously is the big hit. Singing in My Sleep is a great song on here. Never You Mind. And California, I really enjoyed the song California, and Gone to the Movies. That's another good song on here. See, I remember a lot of these songs by their titles, so it's like, why did I get rid of the CD all those years ago? And then we have another artist that I've been looking for a certain block of their discography, picking them up when I find them, and I only found the one CD, so I'm only missing one. But yes, this gets me closer to what I was looking for. The Offspring with Ixnay on the Hombre. I believe I'm looking for Americana is the one that I'm still looking for. So, and then an album that I do have on vinyl, but I wanted to pick up the CD, the Genesis self-titled album. Really enjoy this one. Yes, being that I got into music in the mid '80s, the Phil Collins era of Genesis is my preferred era. Partly because I just haven't really explored the Peter Gabriel era. But yes, some great songs on here. Mama, That's All, Illegal Alien, Silver Rainbow, It's Gonna Get Better. Great, great album. And then we have this one I'd been looking for a while. I have the original unremastered edition. I guess that would be the mastered edition. And was hoping to find this one at some point, and it was at Music Millennium. So this might be the last remastered CD of his that I have that has had a remaster. Some albums have only had their original editions, but Reg Strikes Back by Elton John. So yes, I can sell the original version to a local record store, and now I have the remastered version. So, and then we have Blood, Sweat, and Tears' first album. I've got their sophomore album, they're self-titled, and this is Child is the Father to the Man. So I was happy to find that one. I really enjoyed their self-titled, so it'll be fun to listen to this one. And I decided I didn't want to leave Ronald Records without at least a few things, so at least I think this is where I found these. Yes, it was. So I decided to give him a shot. I like the two albums of his that I have, so I decided to pick up a couple more. Jeff Beck, this is Truth. And this is, I think this is the remaster. Yeah, digitally remastered from the original source tapes. Yeah, see the big yellow hype sticker there, Tom? I told you, foggy brain. And then we have Beckola. So yeah, I now have 4 Jeff Beck albums, so I will be curious to see if these two live up to the 2 that I have. And then found 3 albums. This is an artist that for a while their greatest hits was just fine to me, but I decided need to dig a little deeper, delve into their individual studio albums, and so I've kind of been collecting them as I find the time and the opportunity. The Who, with Who Are You? And obviously the remastered editions. And then a quick one, also known in the States as Happy Jack. And I guess this is probably one of their less popular ones, but I found Face Dances as well. So yes, now I have 6, or do I have just 5? I think I have 6 albums by The Who. Yes, You Better You Bet was on here, so it's one of the reasons I had to pick it up. So yes, I will enjoy delving more into The Who. And now we're going into a fairly big section here, the jazz, instrumental, and new age. So I've found quite a bit of stuff here that some of which I had remembered to look for, some of which I just kind of been in the habit to look for, and 1 or 2 things that I'd completely forgotten about looking for and just found fortuitously. But yes, first one here is, I believe I've actually managed to complete the discography of Flim and the BBs, a jazz fusion band that I discovered just recently in the last few months. So yes, this is the Further Adventures of Flim and the BBs. I love this album cover. Yes, it's like a superhero motif there on the cover. So yeah, that's ought to be as good as all the other ones. Then we have Big Notes by Flim and the BBs. And yes, all these other albums that I had were on the DMP Digital Music Products label. And they did eventually put out 2 albums on the Warner Brothers label before they disbanded. We have New Pants. Clever album title. Sorry about the intensity of the light. It kind of puts off the... Makes it so you can't read the track listing very well. And this is a recording. An apt title for an album, wouldn't you say? So, oh yeah, the track listing is oriented this way. Yeah. So yeah, that should be lots of fun. And then one of my favorite jazz guitarists is Lee Ritenour, and I managed to find 2 of his albums. We've got Rio, which is actually a re-release of an earlier album of his. And yeah, one of these 2 had a price sticker on. Yes, this one here. I might not have picked it up if I'd recognized there was a defect like that on it. Stolen Moments is the other one. You can see on the actual insert, somebody had like a price sticker or something on here. That is a pet peeve of mine with certain record stores that do that with their CDs. They put price stickers on the front insert. You dumbass. That's what the jewel case is there for. Sorry. I told you it's a pet peeve of mine. Anyway, and on to, I've told you guys before about the Narada family of labels. That was a new age label that I really got into way back in the beginning when I first got into music. And I've kind of gotten back into them in the last few years. And basically every time, whenever I see a Narada CD that I don't have already, unless it's something that just completely does not suit my taste, I'll pick it up. We have a compilation of David Arkenstone music from his first 5 or 6 albums. It's pretty good stuff. I realized I already have a David Arkenstone compilation, but this one, I think it looks like I will enjoy this one better than that other one. So I'll probably get rid of that other one. Then we have these next 4. I think I already have another album by each of these artists, and so I'm happy to add to each of their discographies. Spencer Brewer with Dorian's Legacy. So, and I believe he is a pianist. I can't remember, but he makes good music. And then Friedemann, his other album Aquamarine is one of the most recent acquisitions I'd gotten, so was happy to find another one of his albums, Indian Summer. And he is, as you can see here, a guitarist. Then Richard Souther or Souther, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he's got an album here called 12 Tribes. And now, do I have another Richard Souther or Souther album? I think I do. I might be wrong about him. And then this one, I had picked it up probably at a thrift store, but the disc was kind of scratched up, and so I have found this one, another specimen of it, which was in much better condition. Doug Cameron with Mil Amores. So, yeah. And a couple of other Narada titles. Magical Child by Michael Jones, a pianist. I've got 3 or 4 of his albums and really enjoy them, so picked up another one of his. And here's an album by Michael Jones and David Darling. It's an album called Amber. And this one I picked up at Exile Records. So, good stuff here. Will be lots of fun. This kind of stuff is relaxing, mellowing out, this kind of stuff in the background. And this was kind of a cool find here. I've got several of these artists' albums, this band's albums, and this was the one that I was missing out of the run that I currently have, and it was still sealed, and it's a dual disc, CD on one side, DVD on the other side. Bela Fleck and the Flecktones with the album The Hidden Land. So I was happy to find a new sealed dual disc. SupraWes, you might be interested to see. Might be a little jealous that I found a sealed dual disc. And then we have an artist who I discovered. I can't remember how I discovered this guy. I've had his second album for a few years now. He is a bluegrass artist. Plays, I believe it's the banjo. It might be something different. But his second album, I noticed on the track listing there are a couple of Star Wars references in the track listing. So he's a Star Wars fan. So how can you not like that? Or how can I not like that? But ever since then, I've kind of been on the hunt for his first album. His second album, I believe, is called Stealing Second. That's the one I have. And as you can imagine, it has had kind of a baseball motif with the album art. And so that kind of is continuation of the trend that started with his first album, Leading Off. And this is, I don't know if it's Chris Thiel or Thiele. I'm not sure how his last name is pronounced. But as you can see, and I had forgotten how young he was when he started. I'm not sure. I think he was like 14 years old when he put this album out. He certainly looks like 14. But yeah, sad to say, I did not see any Star Wars references in the track listing of this album. You disappoint me, Chris. Anyway, but no, still happy to pick up that album. And yeah, once I find one album by an artist that I like, obviously I kind of look for subsequent albums. Now this one I was kind of happy to find, and let me put this rack down before I spill it again. Yeah, this guy, I just started getting into this guy's music. I picked up one of his albums recently and enjoyed it. And lo and behold, there was a 2-disc anthology put out on the Rhino label. And so I decided I had to get it. It is Jean-Luc Ponty. This is Le Voyage, the Jean-Luc Ponty anthology. So yes, was happy to pick this one up. I will have lots of fun listening to this one. He is, I believe, pretty much electronic music. But yeah, I was happy to find this one and all the other ones that I found. And I'm not done yet, though. Okay. Oh, gotta be careful I don't fall off the stool. The last genre of music here is, as you might imagine, soundtracks. Found quite a good number of soundtracks. Some stuff that I just kind of took a whim on, some stuff that I've been looking for a long time, and things in between. And one of the ones, this first one here is one that I had been looking for, actually looking to re-add it to my collection. Yes, the same old story with me. I get rid of CDs stupidly. Well, I guess there was a reason why I got rid of this one. Let me show you what it is first. It is the soundtrack from a movie called Beautiful Thing. This was an LGBTQ themed movie from 1996. Yeah, 1996. A British film. And the soundtrack was made up almost entirely of music by Cass Elliot, Mama Cass Elliot, and the Mamas and the Papas, as you can kind of see here. And so the reason I got rid of this CD was basically I had a compilations by both of those artists. So I kind of, this CD was kind of redundant, but still, I've gotten, since then I've kind of gotten back to, it's the nostalgia thing for one thing, but also, you want to have the CD that got you into it in the first place. I already enjoyed the music of the Mamas and the Papas, but this CD just kind of sealed the deal. And yeah, if you watch the movie, the music of particularly Cass Elliot is kind of like another character in the movie. And so yes, very fun movie. My voice is just barely going to make it through this video. And this one, I have not watched this movie yet, but I've been, I guess, developing a small collection of Bill Conti scores. So I found the score from Broadcast News in there, so I decided to pick it up. And of course, the Varese Sarabande CDs are a little favorite of mine, basically, you could say. And then the score album by Michael Kamen from The Last Action Hero. I haven't seen this movie in a long, long time. I need to see it again. It's kind of a satire or a spoof of the action hero movies. It's very well done, as I recall, from my very distant brain memory of it. But yeah, good stuff here. And then adding to my Randy Edelman soundtrack collection, Anaconda. This is one of the action thriller, possibly sci-fi movies. I haven't seen it. That Randy Edelman did. Randy Edelman is well known for his comedy films. And then we have, I would kind of rather have picked up the original soundtrack recording of this movie because John Williams plays piano on it. But I have developed, again, a bit of a collection of these re-recordings of classic scores. So this is To Kill a Mockingbird by Elmer Bernstein. And this one is actually conducted by Elmer Bernstein. So, yes, but it is not the original recording. So, but still, lots of fun. And these re-recordings are always very, very well done. They sound really well. This one is another one, kind of like Beautiful Thing, another one that I got rid of and have kicked myself ever since I got rid of it. Don't know why I got rid of it, but yay, I found it again. Blue Thunder by Arthur B. Rubinstein, the 1982 political intrigue, action, police drama, suspense kind of thing. It's a good movie. I watched it. Roy Scheider, Malcolm McDowell, good cast. And this CD, I believe, is expanded from the original LP. I do have the LP. I found it a year or two ago and was happy to pick it up. But yes, very, very good stuff. And it is pretty much all electronic music, which might be one reason why I got rid of it, because there was a time when I was just not much into electronic scores. I would rather have orchestral stuff, but I don't know. I'm stupid. I get rid of stuff, but I am glad to have been able to reacquire the vast majority of stuff that I stupidly got rid of. This one looked interesting. I hadn't picked up, have never been necessarily a big fan of the show, just because spy kind of stuff is not my thing. But I decided to go ahead and pick it up. The soundtrack from Mission Impossible, the TV series, music by Lalo Schifrin. Obviously, the theme, classic. And yes, this one was released on the Hippo label, which is a Universal label. So, yeah, happy to pick that one up. And now these next two, I kind of just picked these up on a whim because I have not watched the series. Have never been particularly a huge fan of the composer. I don't dislike the composer. I just have not had much experience with him. But, they're there at the record store. This was at Exile Records. They were sitting there, not being bought. So I did my civic duty, right? I guess you could say. Anyway, Battlestar Galactica, the remake of the series from the 2000s, 2010s. Music by Bear McCreary. This is season 1. And also another reason was that they are on the La La Land label, so they put out quality stuff. They always have. And season 2, also by Bear McCreary. So why not? I could end up really enjoying the music. That could end up making me want to watch the series, and I could end up really enjoying the series. Now, this one I'd kind of been hoping to find. Would wish that it had been on a pressed CD rather than a CDR, but I believe CDR is the only way to get this soundtrack in a physical copy. The Karate Kid, the remake from 2010 or thereabouts, scored by James Horner. Big James Horner fan, so happy to add, whether it's a CDR or a CD, happy to add one to my collection. The movie was, but obviously James Horner, yay. And speaking of James Horner, we've got Swing Kids. This one I had seen a couple of times. At first I thought the vast majority of it was re-recordings of swing standards, but actually the most of this is original James Horner music. So, and a few other things are adaptations of swing standards. So, very happy to get those. Add a bit more to my James Horner collection, and I was able to add a bit more to my Danny Elfman collection. We have Terminator Salvation. So, yeah, this is one of the Terminator movies I have not seen, so I should probably check it out. But yes, I had not realized, kind of like I had not realized until I saw the soundtrack, that Danny Elfman scored a Planet of the Apes movie. I also had not realized he scored a Terminator film. So, and then we have this original release of Big Top Pee-wee. Yeah. I guess the movie was not very well received, but have to add the score to my collection. Excuse me. And then Alice in Wonderland, also by Danny Elfman. So, yes, and yes, another movie I have not seen, although I probably should see it because it's a Tim Burton movie, so he probably did a great job with it. And this is the second Disney remake of Danny Elfman's that I have. I picked up Dumbo not too long ago, so I've got that one. And also a couple of compilations. This one, again, same old story. I had it years and years ago, got rid of it. But Music for a Darkened Theater Volume 2. This is a compilation of Elfman's themes. And yes, Volume 1 was just a 1-disc compilation, but this is actually a 2-disc set. So, and yes, I'm very happy to have picked this one up again. And then this one, the last in my Danny Elfman set, I didn't realize this one existed. I have a 6-disc set of John Williams music re-recorded by the City of Prague Philharmonic. And there's a 2-disc set of James Horner scores re-recorded by City of Prague Philharmonic. And so I decided to pick this one up and add it to my collection, since Danny Elfman is one of my favorite composers. This is just a 1-disc release of Danny Elfman themes recorded by the City of Prague Philharmonic. So yeah, and a couple of his TV themes as well. So yeah, cool to add this to my collection as well. And finally, the last 3 CDs here I have. You might notice that I have, and actually it's right over here, these white CDs here with the little yellow bits on them. These are all, and actually along with a couple of the black ones here. These are all CDs that I have that are recorded by, or performed by, the Cincinnati Pops Orchestra, conducted by Eric Kunzel. And he did a lot of, kind of like John Williams did with the Boston Pops, a lot of CDs of film themes and, Hollywood stuff and movie hits, sci-fi and otherwise. And so I've basically been a collector of those since then, and I found actually 3 of them that I did not have until now. So expanding my collection to those even more. Here we have Epics, which is consists of more recent stuff as well as classic film themes like Ben-Hur and Spartacus from back in the day, and Gone with the Wind. And we also have The Lord of the Rings, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Harry Potter, and Star Wars. So, yeah. Nice selection of music spanning several decades of cinema. Then we have another one called Mega Movies. And this one, kind of the same thing. Actually, no, it's pretty much just more recent film releases. Yes, Armageddon, Godzilla, Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, Titanic, The Mummy, The X-Files, Shakespeare in Love. It's kind of, all these big action adventure movies, and then Shakespeare in Love. It's like a little drama. Anyway, I'm not the one who assembled the track listing. What can I say? But yes, Cincinnati Pops and Eric Kunzel always put out great stuff. And this one I thought I'd have, and I think I did have it at one point, got rid of it just because it didn't have my favorite stuff on it. But now I'm a collector, so I had to reacquire it. The Big Picture. So yes, the titles of these 3 albums kind of, make them all sound the same, but well, what can you do? Yeah, this is kind of more recent stuff. Braveheart, Mission Impossible, Apollo 13, Speed, Crimson Tide, Independence Day, Twister. Yes, very happy to find all this stuff. And yes, I think I spent my money fairly wisely. I had a lot of it to spend, so, what can I say? Anyway, I guess this video has gone on quite long enough, so, and my voice is just about dead here, so let's go ahead and check out here. That'll do it for this video. Be sure to like it if you liked it. And before you go, drop me some feedback in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to catch my future videos, and hit my username to browse my old videos. Links to my socials and my favorite fellow YouTubers are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember, life's too short to be a music star.